Hi everyone, I'm about to share with you one of the greatest aha moments I've ever had. And it really comes at a time when I've really begun to understand how much people are suffering unnecessarily because they don't really know the truth and they don't really know how powerful their own bodies are in healing themselves when they give them what it needs. Our bodies are actually really clever and they're designed to heal. We just need to give them what they need and take away what they don't need. So this aha moment is quite a big thing, and I'm slightly nervous about sharing this with you, to be honest, and you'll find out why in just a second. So a couple of days ago, part of the inspiration came from having a conversation with an Uber driver a couple of days ago, and she was suffering from chronic pain. We got talking about what each other was doing and what we did for a living, because Uber drivers often have other jobs as well, and I said what I did. And I told her that I help people reverse kind of common illnesses and avoid chronic disease by getting to the root cause. And she said, do you know, have you helped anyone with chronic pain? And I said, not personally, but I know someone who can. And she said she'd been suffering for about 7 years and she was offered different drugs to treat it. And I said, you do realise that they're not going to be able to help you with this because they're not actually trained. The doctors aren't trained to help you with this kind of condition. And everyone I've helped personally has realised that the drugs aren't helping them to heal. So we talked about this and I said, do you understand why this is the case? And she actually said, how do you mean? I said, well, do you know about the training given to doctors? And she said, yes, I do actually. And her doctor had actually told her this. And they were very open with her about their training, which I thought was really interesting. With my own personal story, I used to suffer from really bad eczema. And going back to when I was a kid, I used to go, when it flared up, I'd go to the doctors and often they would prescribe steroid creams, and they've actually lost pigment, or I have lost pigment in my skin where these steroid creams thinned the skin when it was used over and over again. Really nasty, nasty creams. Antibiotics, when they got really bad, which destroy your gut bacteria, your microbiome, it can actually take the gut 1 year to repair from one course of antibiotics. Also 70 to 80% of the immune system's in the gut, so antibiotics really harm the immune system. And then the other one was these harmful moisturizers, which are just loaded with chemicals and parabens and things that are really not good for the skin. And sometimes I'd sit there opposite my doctor and I'd say, he'd ask me if I'm allergic to any of these drugs that he was reading off the screen. So he looked at the screen and said, are you allergic to this? And I'd say yes or no. And I'd leave with a package of drugs thinking, why? Why do I always leave with drugs? And I got very curious, even in my kind of early teens. Fast forward 25 years later, I'm a fast learner, not quite, but I stumbled upon the truth of the medical industry and why doctors are not trained in nutrition. I just want to be clear about something, really clear about something here. This is not to discredit any doctors, by the way, because I love doctors. I've got friends who are doctors. I've got friends of the family who are doctors, amazing people. And there's absolutely no way I want to discredit them. I just say as the consumer, we need to understand the history of their training so we understand when we should approach doctors and when we should really think about investing time and energy in healing our own bodies, because we can heal so many different things. It's incredible. So this history is pretty crazy, and it goes back to 1910. So prior to 1910, there were lots of natural approaches to medicine. Late 1800s, early 1900s, lots of natural approaches to medicine. Medicine meaning it helps the body to heal. So naturopathic doctors, medical herbalists, homeopathic doctors, chiropractors, etc. Lots of natural approaches to medicine. In 1910, Carnegie and Rockefeller, who had founded the Carnegie and Rockefeller Foundation, the steel and oil giants, they commissioned what was called the Flexner Report of 1910. And what this did was it eliminated all competition to patent petrochemical education. Patent petrochemical meaning drugs with patents, and they were manufacturing their own drugs. So in layman's terms, it gave them free power to go and influence the course material taught to doctors. So what they started to do was they started to pour hundreds of millions of dollars into the medical schools throughout the US, and they would pour more and more money into those that were teaching drug-oriented medicine. the American Medical Association got on board, and they also paid them a substantial amount of money as well. And over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 decades, slowly all of these schools that were teaching natural approaches to medicine were shut down. I think by 1950 there were no homeopathic schools left at all. Notification, I tried to turn it off. So by 1950 there were no homeopathic schools left at all. And the American Medical Association started to shut down the less respected medical schools that were not teaching drug-intensive medicine. And if a doctor graduated without a Flexner-approved degree, meaning one that was drug-intensive, he or she wouldn't get a job anywhere. And it's remained the same ever since. So we're now in 2018, 108 years after this massive shift in medicine took place, and doctors are still learning this outdated paradigm of medicine. I listened to a radio show the other night with someone called Dr. Andrew Weil, a Harvard graduate. He said there's 30 minutes of nutrition training taught to medicine undergrads, doctors in training at Harvard. And this is commonplace throughout most medical schools. In the UK, it's the same thing. In the UK, it hit the headlines a couple of months ago when I was back in the UK that doctors receive very little training on nutrition. And there's actually, I believe there's now an effort to have this changed, which is amazing. And also, doctors are realising they're between a bit of a rock and a hard place, shall we say. I get referrals from a doctor on Harley Street in London. And we had a very interesting conversation in January because she's aware of her training, and she is also aware that she is not allowed to share this kind of stuff, which is natural, because she stands to lose her license. I've met people in the US this has happened to. I've heard interviews this has happened to. As soon as doctors realise that their patients are healing without the drugs, they stand to lose their license if they don't follow protocol. So we, as the consumer, need to understand this and really take it upon ourselves to educate ourselves on how we can actually heal ourselves. Because that's when the magic happens, and we can kind of work with our doctors and kind of support them in them helping us. So doctors, they're phenomenal in emergencies particularly, and if I had an emergency, obviously drugs have their place in emergencies. They're phenomenal. They can be life-saving. They can get us out of trouble. And there's a number of cases where they have been proven highly effective for, say, type 1 diabetes, for example. Phenomenal. But most common illnesses and chronic diseases, they do not work. They're ineffective, and they simply mask symptoms. They allow you to survive. So they allow the root cause, because everything has a root cause, they allow that to worsen. So that's happening in the body. There's like this fire. If it's chronic inflammation, which it often is, it's almost like this fire is raging in the body, but the symptoms, the communication from the body telling you that it's out of balance, that there are these symptoms of something, it's like shooting the messenger. So when we take drugs to mask the symptoms, we're not listening to what's happening underneath the body. So when we understand this, we can actually work with our doctors, and they can support us, and we can heal ourselves. If there's an emergency, I don't want to go and have open heart surgery and cover myself in essential oils. That's not going to work. So they absolutely do have their place. I just really want to make the point that they don't serve us for most common illnesses and chronic diseases. And I've helped a lot of people now reverse conditions where it's normal to take medications. Things like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, one of the worst drugs ever, statins. Anything for gout or arthritis, they're ineffective. And people are unnecessarily suffering. We can stop suffering when we understand that the body is designed to heal, and it will heal given the right environment. That's what they found out. In the latest science now, they have found that every single organ in the body is designed to heal. Every tissue is designed to heal. Every part of the body is designed to heal. So we just need to create the right environment in our body to allow the body to do what it is ultimately designed to do. It's really powerful when we know this. I've interviewed about 30 people now who have reversed incurable conditions, things like multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, osteoporosis, psoriasis, various forms of cancer. And it's all about understanding how the body is beautifully designed to heal. We just need to give it what it needs and take away the stuff that it doesn't need. I've talked for longer than I was hoping to talk for. So at this point, I would like to just say I hope that's been useful. I hope it's been powerful, because again, it's not to take away your safety net. One of my friends accused me a year ago of kind of being so controversial it's taking away the safety net, but I don't see it as that, because it's not really, I don't see drugs as a safety net. They might allow us to live short term, but ultimately our vitality drops, our energy goes through the floor. It's eating away at us if all we do is take drugs. So I don't really see that as a safety net. Maybe very, very short term, take the drugs, but then whilst that's happening, do everything you can to heal the body at the same time. Because it's incredible and a powerful thing. So at this stage, I'd like to share with you again that I am releasing the second edition of the Vitality Secret. And I'm really pushing for a global publishing deal now. And I'm after your support. I know a lot of people on my Facebook page I've helped, clients, customers, readers. If you're there to, if you'd like to support me, getting this book out there so you can discover how you can heal your own body as well. That's the main point, really. It's all about empowering people to heal their own body by discovering how to do it. And it's all in there. It's all going to spark your curiosity in healing yourself. So I'm going to put a link below this video, and I'd love your support. Please share this if you know of anyone on medications, on long-term medications, or anyone who's suffering from pain, from symptoms. You know, this is powerful stuff, and yeah, I really stand by this. So if you'd like to discover how powerful your body is in healing itself, I'll put the link below this. So thank you for watching, and unless anyone has any questions, I'll end it now. Okay, they don't. Thank you for watching. And hit me up with any questions below if you like. Thank you.